Now to the crisis at the border. Often when people come into the country illegally from Central or South America, they try to connect with family members who could live here.
And sometimes children appear as young as 2 years old, and they're all alone. They have an address or a telephone number, maybe a 305 or 561. That's us. So what happens to them? Are they making it to a safe place?
Yeah, sometimes the answer is no. Here's CBS 12's Lily Ortiz with this special I-Team report tonight.
Bit of a standoff.
Cell phone video shows undocumented kids and teens moments after crossing the border, dazed, tired. They are referred to as the unaccompanied. In 2021, Florida leaders say they discovered secret flights carrying illegal kids and dropping them off at airports across the country, organized by the federal government's refugee relocation program. It ultimately sparked a political controversy and a continued debate about the treatment and handling of these illegal minors vulnerable to exploitation. Rich Mantei, assistant state prosecutor with the Florida Office of Attorney General.
It turned out that there were lots of flights coming into the state, not just into Jacksonville.
We sat down with Mantei at his Jacksonville office.
These flights were landing, 2 a.m. at the commercial terminal far away from the passenger department, and they were little kids getting off this airplane, grabbing colored luggage and being loaded into buses or SUVs and taken away in the middle of the night.
Mantei served as a legal advisor to a Florida grand jury impaneled after a request by the governor to investigate criminal or wrongful activity related to the illegal children coming to the Sunshine State. A scathing report came out 18 months later, criticizing the Department of Health and Human Services, the agency in charge of placing these children somewhere safe after being turned over by border agents. And the report found the agency did the complete opposite during the last administration.
Part of what they found was that the organizations that are entrusted with them are doing terrible disservice to most of these children, and they're doing so essentially for profit.
After interviews and reviewing evidence, the grand jury concluded that HHS's Office of Refugee Resettlement, in partnership with nonprofit organizations using taxpayers' money, was placing children with unvetted sponsors. No background checks. That exposed minors to abuse and rape, and HHS lost track of tens of thousands of children. Is there a fear that these children were trafficked?
It's not just fear, it's fact. There are some that are trafficked. There's no question about it. And you could be handing them to a trafficker, a fellow gang member. You could be handing them to someone who's only interested in using them to make money so that they can send that money back home overseas. Sometimes you're only bringing the child in because cartel has decided that the child can smuggle drugs in for them because nobody's going to search a kid. All of those things happen, and they happened often enough that everybody ought to be concerned about it.
He says it's been going on for years and around the country.
There were something like 250,000 unaccompanied children that showed up between 2021 and 2023. And that's just according to the data that we know about. That's the data that the Border Patrol compiled.
What would you say to those families who feel that they have absolutely no choice but to send their children here alone to live a better life here in the U.S.?
I don't understand how you can have no choice other than to literally abandon your child to gang members, traffickers, jungles, alligators, all the manner of evils that are well documented. Subjecting them to those kind of risks does not make life better. If you force the state or the country to choose between a child and your behavior, I think we'll choose the child every time. Those are children to be protected. They are not commodities. They are not things to work for. And putting them through something like that does not make life better.
HHS refused to provide documents or witnesses to the grand jury. Since the report came out, Mantei says leaders in Florida have been able to cite it to put pressure on Congress to change federal policy. This year, a Florida Senate bill was written, and it pointed to recommendations from the grand jury. The goal? To protect children while they wait immigration proceedings. Meanwhile, since the election, the White House says parents in foreign countries are not attempting this as much.
The number of unaccompanied illegal alien children arriving at the border has also hit a record low.
But Mantei says the problem is far from over.
The state of Florida doesn't have a whole lot of authority to prosecute federal officials for what amount to their terrible policy decisions, but we can make them very public.
Two people who are in position to affect change on this: Pam Bondi, former Florida Attorney General, now the U.S. Attorney General, and Ashley Moody, former Florida Attorney General turned Florida Senator. I have reached out to both of their offices to see what their plans are for making sure this stops once and for all. And it's hard because if the kids make it here, we don't want them getting hurt. Even though they should not be here in the first place, we have to do the right thing. For now, in the studio, I'm Lily Ortiz for CBS 12 News.